This is my take on Gladiator Beast for Edison format. For the main deck I have 2 copies of Darius, 2 copies of the Quest, 2 copies of Retiari. I really like having 2 copies of Retiari, because against decks like Frog and Vayu you really want to summon the Retiari from your deck, and if you only play one, if this gets deprisoned or it's in your hand, then you cannot access it. Additionally, albeit a bit niche, some battle phases you summon 2 of them to banish 2 cards, so I think 2 Retiari in the main deck is very important. However, against certain decks like Hero Beat, you end up taking one of these out and siding Hoplimus instead. Then for the other GBs I played just 1 copy of Laquari, 1 copy of Bestiari, 1 copy of Samnite, 1 Remilio, 1 Sekitor, 3 copies of Test Tiger, 2 copies of Elemental Hero Prisma, 1 copy of Rescue Cat. And for the spells, I have 3 copies of Book of Moon. I think Book of Moon is the best non-engine in the GB deck, because you can use it going second and going first. You can also use Book of Moon on your opponent's monster, being able to ram into it with any GB and make sure it survives. Particularly important with the Sekitor, seeing as if he resolves, you usually as win the game. 2 copies of Proving Ground, 1 Mystical Space Typhoon and 1 Heavy Storm. And for the traps, 2 copies of War Chariot, 2 copies of Dimensional Prison, 2 copies of Bottomless Trap Hole, 2 copies of Waboku, 2 copies of Trapstun, 1 Starlight Road, 1 Solemn Judgment, 1 Torrential, 1 Mirror Force, 1 Dust Shoot and 1 Compulse. For the extra deck, I have 1 copy of Cataster, 1 Bryanak, 1 Goyo, 1 Stardust for the Starlight Road, 1 Thought Ruler Archfiend, 3 Gaiceris, 3 Heraclinos, and 3 Chimeritic Fortress Dragon. For the side deck, I have 1 copy of Hoplimus, 2 copies of DD Crow, 2 copies of Cyber Dragon, 2 copies of Dimensional Fissure, 2 copies of Ancient Forest, 2 copies of Smashing Ground, 1 Trapstun, 1 War Chariot, and 2 Trap Hole for Blackwing.